Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. It's been a while since I streamed. This shift that I'm working, this mid shift, is just killing me. I just feel like I don't have time to do anything. I come home and it's too late to do anything that I want to do, and then I just stay up too late not doing anything, and then I just end up sleeping later, and I just don't. It's a
Yeah,
the
it's
plus side.
it's a
I'm getting
vicious cycle. I'm wondering, do you see a light at the end of the tunnel? Do you think you'll be able to switch your
well.
shift at some point? Or
I mean, I could always ask,
yeah,
to go back to normal shift, but you don't want to be. I don't know. I
you don't
kind of,
be that guy.
yeah, I kind of want to rough it out. It was supposed to be 6 weeks,
Yeah.
then that got extended to they say pretty much the week before Christmas it'll end.
Mm,
So Christmas week
gotcha.
will be normal, but one thing I've always learned is every temporary thing is permanent. Who everything changes. They
Yeah.
tell you 6 weeks, that doesn't mean anything.
Right. Right. Have you found any I don't know, like anything about streaming later that you enjoy, or like maybe there's not as much competition because a lot of people are not streaming this late, but
Um, I find that when I stream at noon, I get a lot of people watching.
mm,
I guess everybody streams in the evenings.
yeah,
Like
right.
right now, we got nobody watching. I'm hoping they
Yeah.
catch it on the replay. But plus Lord Raptor Jesus is streaming, and I think other people are streaming. So right now we have a lot of competition. Wednesdays is a big night. I realized that if you want to stream Saturday and Sunday nights, nobody streams, or at least nobody in the comic books. That
Right.
well, you got Yellow Flash is Saturday nights, but like other than him, nobody streams Saturday night, Saturday and Sundays. Stream all day
Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday.
everyone wants their weekends.
Right, right.
Yeah,
I mean, I like my 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
right.
I want to get back to that. That was just fine for me. I came home. I got home like 20 minutes ago. I come home, take
Right.
a quick
Yeah.
shower. I started eating, and then I put the food away. You know, and then I want to stay up, but I don't want to make coffee because then I'll be up to 6 o'clock in the morning. It's just here I am complaining. I don't want to complain. I hate complaining. So anyway, it's been a while since you've been on the channel, and I've got your comics. You did Man-Child. I did not read them yet. I got a big stack of all the Man-Child. I can't wait to read them. We have similar comics ideas. I have Eddie is Doomed, which is an adult who's too into comic books. That's being worked
Yeah.
on now. That just got kicked into high gear.
Wonderful. Yeah, I remember the last time I was on, we were talking about it a little bit, and so I'm excited to see that one come out soon.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But you got another comic now. Seasons is your new campaign.
Yes, yeah. So, and I'm this book has been with me for a really long time. It was actually the first book that I ever put out, but it was years ago, and it was such an ambitious series because it's 4 volumes, and each volume's over 100 pages, and we did volumes 1 and 2 as these prestigious limited edition hardcovers, and I'm all sold out. And so as we were working on volume 3, Anthony and I was like, I need to reprint these, and I need to be able to get these in the hands of people who want to keep supporting me and maybe have not picked up Seasons yet. So this campaign is to bring the series back, bring it back in a trade paperback format. And we have some variant covers, and also an ash can for volume 3, so a little sneak peek as to what's to come. But yeah, I'm very excited to be returning to this series.
What's this series about?
Yeah, so Seasons is a supernatural, grounded superhero story about a young man whose abilities change with every season of the year. So he's having to figure out what he can do and his abilities while taking on these different foes in each volume. So it's a 1-year journey that we follow Fletcher on. His name's Fletcher Eames, and he is discovering the person he was always truly meant to be. So discovering his destiny while figuring out all these new abilities that he acquires.
Okay, so you said it's 4 volumes, so each volume takes place in a season. I take it.
Correct. Yeah. So Seasons volumes 1 is spring, volume 2 is summer, volume 3 will be fall, and volume 4 will be winter.
And he has different abilities based on the season. So could like the Avatar, the Last Airbender, when they learned fire, water, could he draw on the other seasons, or does he lose the other abilities?
He loses them. Yeah, yeah. So they do not. They're not cumulative. So they don't build upon each other. And so, he always has to stay on his toes and figure out, okay, now what can I do now? And at the start of every book, there's that question of, what am I able to do now that I couldn't do before? And am I going to miss any of the abilities that I did have before?
Cool. I got to ask, because I'm pain in the neck this way. Like, does it all of a sudden, like at the equinoxes, it just changes instantly?
Yeah. No, it does. So like, and from a storyteller's perspective, I was, like structurally to structure a series like this, it was very difficult because, I knew I wanted each volume to take place over, a certain period of time, and usually every season lasts about 2 to 3 months, give or take. And so it was really difficult for me to figure out, well, how would I transition over from one story arc to the next story arc and not have it feel forced, or, like he wakes up one day and they're just all different right away. And, and this series tonally is a drama. It's very serious, but it's not, it's a superhero story, but with none of the, I would say, window dressing of a superhero comic. So it's a very grounded story.
I can't help but looking through the art and the way you're describing, like Unbreakable.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah, my quick pitch is Seasons is James O'Barr's The Crow meets M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable. So that's really what it is.
And we all know M. Night Shyamalan only had 2 good movies.
Yes. Yeah. Well, well, which ones are they? Which ones?
Sixth Sense, but Unbreakable, and Unbreakable is my favorite.
Yeah. Unbreakable is right up there with me. I'm still a really big fan of Signs. I really did enjoy
like
that
Signs.
One. Yeah.
And I went to go see it in the movies, and believe it, I went with my high school girlfriend. I moved back to New York, and she just happened to bump into me, and we were like, let's go out to dinner, a movie for old time's sake.
Yeah.
So it was like a pleasant, I haven't seen somebody, we didn't date, we just hung out like friends, but right. It was such a pleasant night, and that I loved the movie. But then when I saw it without, I was more analytical mind. I was like,
right.
In this movie, like so many serious, like these aliens, and we're talking about your Seasons book, but these aliens are vulnerable to water, so they invade a planet that's mostly water.
Right.
Like, one of them is strong enough to jump over the house, but he's not strong enough to kick open that little piece of rickety wood door to the basement.
Right.
There's just so many like little
some inconsistencies with the logic of the film. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, and and then like, something found in Israel gets rid of them. What got rid of them? Like that's up there with, and somehow Palpatine returned.
Right. Yeah, very convenient.
Yeah. Deus Ex Machina. Although I heard the fan theory that those were really demons.
I've heard of that one too. Yeah,
hurt them because he got his faith back and blessed it. It's the holy water. I don't know, but
yeah. I really liked the faith element of that film, and I mean, Mel Gibson's a great actor, and that's one of Joaquin Phoenix's earliest roles too.
Right, it's a great performed movie.
Yeah,
everything about the movie I liked except the sci-fi.
Right.
Like if he just, I don't know, left a little bit more mysterious.
Right. Yeah, sometimes, and that's, I mean, not to go on a rant about M. Night Shyamalan, but like, yeah, that's some of his, what sometimes he gets, I feel like he gets in the way of himself, and but there's a lot of talent there, but sometimes, yeah, maybe he needs an editor, right?
Right. He needs somebody to work with him. Just like a Tim Burton. He needs somebody to actually write his movies. and,
Yeah.
and he could direct the movie. I do like I like The Village. I know a lot of people hate that movie. I saw the twist coming a mile away, but I still like the
Yeah,
movie.
I love The Village. That's one of my hot takes. Like I really enjoy that film.
But I man, the worst movie I've ever seen is The Lady in the Water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a rough one.
And that was the last one of his movies I saw. I hated that so much.
Yeah.
I didn't see the one with The Happening. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I wouldn't really recommend that one. I feel like he has had an upward, slide like with films like Split and The Visit. Those are really really good.
Which one is the sequel to Unbreakable?
Yeah, that's Split, and then
I gotta
there's
see that one. I like
Glass.
Unbreakable so much.
Yeah,
It's because I remember it was going to be a trilogy, and then he but this has nothing to do with seasons.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I will say M. Night Shyamalan, and going back to Unbreakable, tonally it has a lot of comparisons. When you watch Unbreakable, like you can watch it kind of as a novice, as someone who's maybe not a big comic book fan, and still really enjoy that film.
Yeah.
But if you are a comic book fan and you understand what M. Night Shyamalan is taking from, there's so many, you get so much more out of it as a fan. And with Seasons is somewhat similar because, it's not necessarily a book, for superhero fans particularly, but if you are a superhero fan, you will enjoy it, I think, all the more. It definitely has qualities of that, but it's a coming of age story, a late coming of age, I would say, with a lot of superhero elements, but more so supernatural elements, and it really is not so much about showing Fletcher doing these like being a hero in the sense of like being a vigilante, but it's him being a hero and saving himself and saving his family and saving the people closest to him. So something about him in particular and how he uses his abilities too is that it's almost as if he's tapping into this unseen world. So like he can see things that other people cannot. He can use his abilities and other people do not see him use his abilities. So he has no need for a secret identity or to hide from the government or anything like that. He's completely almost on like another plane of existence. While also interacting with the real world.
I just can't. I'm just thinking like there's a lot of story drama to be made for. I obviously I didn't read this yet. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Like he just wakes up and he's got whatever the spring powers may be.
Right.
Now, are they tied to like is it tied to spring? So like would it be like renewal and rebirth and regeneration, or do you not want to tell me?
Well, no, you're totally fine. So the powers themselves are I based every power set off of what tools, like from a plot perspective, what tools he would need to defeat the antagonist.
So I'm thinking if he has 4 different power sets based on the seasons, they would be tied to this. Like I'm thinking like winter, he would probably be like death or cold or something like that,
right?
But it's not like that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's not necessarily based off like in summer, like he doesn't have fire powers, or anything like that. Like any correlation necessarily. It's more so in the vein of what is going to help him to defeat his foes. So it's
so does he have some sort of like precognition, like he knows what? Or like he in I know I'm asking you questions.
You got to read it, John.
I know. But this kind of stuff I find interesting.
Oh, of course. No, I love these questions.
I'm thinking like, does he encounter the bad guys and then adapt to the situation? Which begs the question: every year, does he have 4 new powers? So like in 2 years, he has 8 different powers.
Yeah. So I'm
Well, like
the main.
But I'm interested. This is fun.
Yeah. No. Totally. And like this was where the idea came from, was exploring this idea of with superheroes. The reason I wanted to write a story like this was because I was really fascinated with the idea of a character whose powers were never stagnant. You know, when and powers in particular are so they're so integral to characters we love, you know, and whenever a character does something out of the ordinary or doesn't use the power that we know that they can use, you know, it feels like what's going on? Like the writer messed up the character. Like
Yeah.
they should
Like
know how to
in one
do
early
these
issue of the
things.
Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, he made a flame stethoscope and
Oh my
flew
gosh.
around, and flew around Manhattan to find out where the wizard was hiding.
Yeah, yeah, and
It's
it's
like,
like,
come on, Stan.
what are these rules? Yeah, what are like we're making them up as we go, right?
Yeah.
But with seasons in particular, so I wanted to create a character who, you know, was a fish out of water, but consistently. So someone who would always be learning how to do something new and to keep the reader on their toes, to keep Fletcher on his toes at the same time. And um, the idea of having someone who had these different powers with each season, it was really uh, it really came from like the structure of the story as well, and the kind of story that I wanted to tell, because this story is about change. You know, it is about growth. I mean, seasons themselves, they change, and it, we go through these changes in our lives, and Fletcher has to go through these changes throughout this 1 year period and figure out the man he was, you know, destined to be and to fulfill his potential. And so, you know, it's almost as if nature itself or the universe itself is thrusting this character on a path on his own hero's journey. And he has to figure out what he can do, why he can do what he can do. And one of the biggest mysteries of the series is why he has these powers and where they
Okay.
came from. And so that's something that he is trying to figure out, you know, and the reader wants to know as well. So,
Is there other superheroes in this world?
no, no, just him. And, um, you know, there are other entities and there are other people that he engages with, but a lot of the characters and a lot of what they represent are more so metaphors in terms of being able to reflect certain themes and certain ideas that I want to get across with this story. You know, the story, it's like a fever dream. Like you read it and you're trying to figure out what's real, what's fake, you know, like what is really happening. And it's this exploration of um, you know, identity and growth and um, perception, and you know, feeling like you belong in the world, and it's juggling a lot of these ideas and trying to look at using superheroes and using powers as a metaphor for the tools that we can use to better our lives.
Okay. Uh, I heard you talking the other day. I forget who you are. I think were you with Vaughn Coleman? You say that your name Fox is from
Yeah,
the X
X
Files.
Files. Yes.
So and you said your parents are big X Files. So what I got to ask then is Nandor, are your family are your parents big Tolkien fans?
You know, they are they like Lord of the Rings, but they're not like a big, you know, big fans of Tolkien. It's Hungarian. So my
Okay,
mom, yeah, my mom, she's Hungarian, and her family's from Hungary. And yeah, it's a Hungarian name.
okay, because there was the Nandor elves that they.
Yeah, and Gondor, and you know, there's a lot of
Oh, you know your Tolkien lore then. Okay,
oh yes, yes. No, I love Tolkien, and yeah, I've gotten I've gotten that a lot where people are like, "Hey, is that a Tolkien name?" You know, but
there was I worked at a bar in Albuquerque. And there was a cocktail waitress. Her name was Bree,
mm.
and everybody used to go like, "Oh, the cheese, the cheese, the cheese." And I said, "No, it's from Tolkien." And she was like, "You know, your parents are big Tolkien fans, yeah,
Well,
Bree,
that's cool.
yeah, yeah." So anyway, I just want to get that out. I have like a group of bad guys that are based on the months. There's 12 of them, and
Oh, cool.
like, and I gave them all powers based on either the season, like the month or the 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 uh the lore of like the god or whatever. It's like
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. March, he's named Ares, so he's and March was generally the beginning of the campaign season for wars. Like in the ancient world, they didn't march, they didn't go out to war during the winter months.
Right.
In March,
Yeah.
the weather, so that's why March, became associated with Ares, the god of war, and everything like that. So, but anyway, that's what I was thinking when you with the seasons, if you were tying it, but you're not.
Yeah, did you also like look at, like different astrology signs or anything like that and basing them off, or like their personalities,
I
or
mostly like I mostly picked like holidays.
yeah.
It's like Mr. October,
Mhm.
it's Halloween, so he's like goblin based and everything like that. Mr. November is kind of like he's a Puritan. He's like a religious zealot.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
From Thanksgiving Pilgrim.
Thanksgiving. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I get that.
And then Mr. December is he's like a skeleton. It's
Ah.
the end. It's the end of the year. And Mr.
Oh, are you still there, John?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Sorry about that. It goes out every once in a while. I don't know about you, but we're getting like some bad weather from the hurricane in Jamaica over here in New York. I located.
Yeah.
So
No,
anyway, I didn't want to talk about that, but that's what I was thinking. Like when you had seasons, I was like, okay, so like if it's spring,
yeah, I usually like for this story, I took the seasons as more of a thematic play of the story. So like the first story starts in the spring because spring is about beginnings and
right.
about new life and starting again. Um, and I also thought that would be the perfect way to end the series as well, as you go from winter back to spring. So like that was the starting point. And with summer, it's more of a an action romp. Like summer, you think like wild, like exciting,
Summer
like
blockbusters.
yeah, blockbuster. And that's kind of the launching point of that story. And with fall, fall is about death. It's about change. It's about things going into hibernation. As we get to winter, it is about like everything's calm, everything's like in hibernation, but something is brewing, something is gonna start again, and then we go back to spring. So I based each story off of the seasons in terms of the tone rather than the powers, but each of the abilities have are each unique to the season, and Fletcher has to figure out how to use them and how to use them well against whatever he's up against. And each book's over 100 pages, and each book tells a complete story. So while there's this larger narrative happening between books 1 through 4, you get a complete story with each volume.
And 4, it's done.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is ambitious. So that's like 800 pages we're talking about. If you
it'll be around 400 to 500 by the end. Yeah.
Oh wow, good. That's I don't know. I find it tough to write that much. Like,
yeah.
Do you like, okay, like I don't have room for this, or is it like I'm trying to be as polite as possible. Like what do you decide doesn't fit? Like, okay, I'm gonna make this as big as I want, so I can include like, downtime and
right.
You know what I mean? Like I find like 200 pages. It would almost be like I could cut a lot of this out. So like, what is your process with that? Like,
yeah. So with it was really important that this series, like, I have enough room for the story that I wanted to tell, because Fletcher is estranged from his family. He's having relationship issues. He's, having these new abilities, and he's taking on these different foes with each volume. And so I needed to make sure that, everything that the reader was reading made sense within the context of how the story is structured, and how, I didn't want to write a story that took place over the course of 2 or 3 months and it only be 60 pages or 80 pages or something. Like, I feel like that's a long stretch of time, and I wanted the reader to be able to sit with the characters, to be able to experience life with the characters. And there's some, I would, some normal, everyday, mundane things that we see Fletcher go through because he's trying to put the pieces of his life back together. So, it's about him trying to find his career. It's about him trying to mend these relationships that he's broken. It's about being a better person. And so I feel like I didn't want to just speed through that. And for me, it was really important to show him go through the steps of finding these things out for himself and to show that process. And so with each book, I took a little hiatus between volumes 2 and 3. After volumes 1 and 2 came out as these hardcovers, I worked on Man-Child and The Fabled Offering and Lifeline, and working on some anthology projects. And as we were starting to get back to working on volume 3, I looked at my scripts and I was like, I'm a better writer now. Like I know I'm a better writer. I know I could look at these and I could edit them down and see if there's anything that I can cut, anything that I can change. And I did. I took nothing major was like changed, but I took a lot out that I didn't want or that I thought wasn't needed anymore. And so,
Okay.
one of the, I mean, a rookie.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, yeah. A rookie comic book writer, you can usually tell, through overwriting, and that's something that I've always struggled with starting out. Was like putting too much in there and knowing when to space things out better. And that's something that I've learned over the years through the different projects that I've worked on. And so I'm actually really happy that I never completed the series until getting back to it now, because
when did you start?
I started the first volume, the first hardcover came out in 2018 or 2019.
Wow. Okay.
So I started writing Seasons. This was my first book, my first project, and I started writing it right out of high school. So I was going into college and I was working on this story. I knew I wanted to be a comic book writer. Like that's just something that's always been there for me, that I've always wanted to do. And I started working on it, and then I put it out as a web comic for free. I would post pages every week. I built a website, did all of these things.
How did that go?
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I mean, I gained a good following and a good readership. And this was I started posting it online for free in 2016, 2017. And this was before crowdfunding was really had taken off at all, and so I was still really learning about how do you make indie comics, how do people make these things, and what's the business model here, and web comics was really the only way to get your work seen. And then after learning more about crowdfunding and seeing other creators make books and seeing how viable it was, I brought Seasons to crowdfunding, and the first book funded successfully. And so that's how my start in comics really began.
Yeah, I haven't done the web comics thing. I haven't done the print on demand. There's a lot to consider. You were talking about well, let me backtrack. I got so many thoughts that sometimes I trip up myself on my own words. But I think for superhero comic books, the origin is usually one of their best stories. Spider-Man's origin to me is practically literature. I'm trying to think all the great, Doctor Strange got a great origin.
Bruce Banner, yeah,
like all the Marvel characters that I the DC origins I could take or leave some of them, but
yeah,
you have an opportunity. You can make a character. You can make a story with 4 origins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always find it fun when it's one of my pet peeves is the superhero gets their power, and then 3 pages later they're masters of it all.
Yes,
I
exactly,
like when they
exactly.
fumble. Like that's what the Spider-Man movies when he's like, he's swinging and he hits the building and things like that. I enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that Fletcher has to go through in the series. In the first volume, he learns about his abilities through this fit of rage of emotion that he goes through, and from then on he's like, wait, how did I do that? Right? Like you have that question of like, how did these like what am I tapping into really? And he starts to play with them, and he's like alone in his house and he's like doing different things and manipulating different things and trying to figure out what that is. And we get this montage of showing him kind of learning what he can do.
It's funny. I was
um,
thinking of making a not so serious character called Montage.
there you go.
and,
Yeah.
and that's what Montage does is he just like he could just like point at you or whatever, and you get a montage, and now you know how to ride a bicycle, or now
Oh,
you
I
know how to
love that.
you
I
know how to
love
speak
that. That's so
Japanese or
cool.
something like that.
Yeah, it's like a learning playbook, almost like the Flash, if you were to read something really quickly and just know how to do it. Um, and so yeah, like that was something that was really important to me with each volume. While Fletcher, like as we get to fall and winter, he's expecting something to happen, right? So he's more comfortable with the idea of change, and he's
Right.
more
I imagine
comfortable.
by
Yeah, like
fall,
he's
picking up thinking about
anticipating.
the change. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So as he anticipates it, he learns that, you know, like for him, it's almost like he's expecting it. But also there's also, and not to spoil what's to come, but there's this idea of what if you were in a situation when you needed your powers, but the ones you had that you needed were fading as new ones were becoming, and they weren't the ones that you needed to deal with the situation. So, there are little fun things like that you can play with. And that's something that I do in the series. So, um, and finding, one of the most difficult parts about writing the story too was the transitional parts between seasons and showing him transition from this power set to the next, and not to just force it in a way that feels forced, like for lack of a better term. And so that was something that from a superhero fan, I'm always really interested in showing. And I like how you brought up the idea of four origins, because it's like he's always having to be in a situation where he's learning something new about himself and what he can do, and he has to make a decision about it.
I always bring up role playing games. Me and my buddies, we play a superhero role playing. I forget. Are you a Dungeons Dragons or anything like that?
Not really. No, no.
But we play this again. Our people who watch my channel is probably sick of me bringing it up. But Village Vigilantes. It's a superhero version of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, this guy Daniel, he liked chaos, and he liked unpredictable. So he made up a character called Fugazi. Effed up is basically so Fugazi, and his powers were he had to every time he went to use his powers, we rolled on the chart. And he had different powers. So
Oh, wow.
he would point to somebody, and then I would roll the dice, and then sometimes it would be obvious, like you'd shoot a lightning bolt. Sometimes like he would shrink down to ant size, and he's like, oh, so he never knew what he was going to do, and it was always chaos, and it was always fun.
No, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, yeah. You'd always be like, "What are you gonna do next?"
And he'd be like, "Okay, I'm going to do this." The other players would be like, "No, no,
Oh,
you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what you're going to like." Once he teleported the bad guy,
Yeah, yeah,
away.
right. I did want to mention real quickly too, and this was something that happened serendipitously with seasons. I took a little hiatus between volumes 2 and 3, and in that interim, working on other projects, I had still been pitching seasons around to publishers and trying to get it in the direct market, because that's something I've always, I want my stores in comic book I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, me
I want
too.
my
I'm with you.
yeah, and so I'm really happy to say that Seasons was picked up by Source Point Press,
Oh,
and
cool.
they're going to be releasing it in bookstores and comic book stores next year.
Oh,
So
good for you.
thank you. Yeah, so I'm super excited about it. You know, the campaign has some exclusive covers and exclusive rewards that you can only get during the campaign, but if you know are wanting to support your local comic book shop and wanting to support me in the direct market, that will definitely be an option. And so I'm really excited to, finally be able. It's the first time my work will be available in comic book stores around the
Oh,
country.
that is
So
cool. Good for you. That is awesome.
yeah, yeah, I cannot wait. Like I'm so excited for that moment. And I also got another publishing deal over the summer for a new project that I'm really excited about. I can't talk about it too much, but it this year's been really good for me professionally and getting my work out there. So I'll definitely have some more announcements coming soon.
Oh, good. Good for you, man. I don't know. I like the crowdfunding. I think it's great. I could deal with my backers, supporters. I hate saying fans. It sounds so.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But but I still love all those years of going to comic book stores and hanging out and talking about Spider-Man, and you know you want to see your stuff on a shelf, next to Wolverine or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like, I mean, and someone said this, and it was, I totally like felt the sentiment, but it's like if there's a chance that, um, you know, a 13-year-old kid or a young kid goes into the comic book shop and picks up your book, and that's like their first comic, or that's like the comic that they fall in love with, like that's what you want, like you want that moment and that opportunity to be able to be found and be discovered by a new comic book fan
Yeah,
and a young comic book fan, and be like, hey, like I picked up this book. And because that's how we all started, right? Like, I mean, it's like we would go to the store and we wouldn't always know what we wanted to get, but we would try new things and see what clicked and see what didn't click.
look
And
at the cover. This looks interesting.
yeah, and then ask the shop owner, have you read this? Like, what do you think about it? And then
Sometimes I just literally went into the store and just like, what do you guys recommend? I want to buy a comic book, and I'm all caught
yeah,
up. Yeah.
right. And and that's so much fun to do. And so yeah, I love the culture of the comic book shop. And that's such a big part of what kept me reading comics, because I enjoyed walking in and talking with people and having those conversations, And so I'm very excited about that. And I think a lot of people, while you know uh, being available digitally is still so important in this day and age that we live in. Building relationships with shop owners and building relationships with, stores that have been around and stores in your community, I think is equally as important. And, it opens opportunities that you may not have, like if they want to do events, if, there are opportunities where, they have a network of retailers. I mean, there's a lot of retailers that have their own retail groups, people that they know, and you can build those connections and get your books into certain stores.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for you, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to bring up your campaign again. You got a trailer here. I assume it's safe for work and everything. I can play it.
Oh yeah, it is. It's mostly me, talking about the book, but you're more than welcome to play it.
Let's play your trailer.
Fletcher isn't happy with his life anymore. His breaking point occurs after the love of his life rejects him, sending Fletcher spiraling through a year-long journey into a world unseen. A world full of shadows and persons with superhuman abilities and traumas not unlike his own. Fletcher soon discovers that his own powers change with the seasons, and he must not only learn how to adapt to these changes, but how to accept the changes in his own life. Enter this allegorical character study that explores complex themes of identity, mental illness, existence, purpose, and personal responsibility. Hi, I'm Nandor Fox, the creator and writer of Seasons. The year was 2017, and I was a kid in his late teens with a dream to make a comic. That comic was Seasons, a planned 4-volume supernatural graphic novel series about a young man whose abilities change with the seasons themselves. The first volume was successfully funded on Kickstarter that same year, as was the second volume 3 years later. Flash forward to now, and I've raised nearly $50,000 crowdfunding my own projects across 9 campaigns. The only issue? Seasons Volumes 1 and 2 are all sold out. As we prepare for the launch of Seasons Volume 3 fall, I wanted to return to my origin story in comics and bring this series back to the masses. Featuring all new covers from the best in indie comics, including 2 crowdfunding exclusives, Seasons Volume 1 Spring and Seasons Volume 2 Summer returns in trade paperback format. But that's not all. For those of you who have been patiently waiting for the next chapter in Fletcher's story, this campaign features an exclusive, never-before-seen or published 28-page ashcan of the hotly anticipated next volume, giving readers a sneak peek of what to expect. Back this project today so that we can finish Fletcher's one-year journey and follow him as he discovers the person he was always truly meant to be.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, where am I? I'm hitting the wrong buttons here.
There you go.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad that you're in the comic stores. That's gonna be great. And you signed another deal that you're being quiet about. Good for you, man. Good.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming. Something I always tell people is that it is a marathon, and there's a lot of it takes a long time sometimes to be able to. And I'm somewhat grateful for it because, while I do get the impatience of like I want things to happen quicker and,
tell me about it.
You get restless, right? And it takes so long to make a comic. I don't think people understand how much is involved in it. There's a lot of steps and
I have a funny little story. Renzo Rodriguez is drawing all my comics for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only person he works with. So he's worked with a few other people. And he just said, "Oh, John, I'm done with all my obligations. But I'm going to start on the Patriarch #1." And I said, "Oh, good. When do you think, it's 45 pages. How long do you think it'll take?" And he said, "I'll be done by next year." What does that mean to you?
I'll be done. Yeah, I don't. It's just that's such a long stretch of time,
Right. So he said I'll be done by next year. So I was like, okay, it's going to take him a year.
Yeah.
I appreciate the heads up. So I talked to other guys and said, "Oh, Renzo's going to take a year to do Patriarch #1." And I got other artists. So I was like, "You guys think you could, snap it up and we'll get some?" Because I don't want to just lay fallow for a year.
Right. Yeah.
And one of the guys asked Renzo, "You're going to take a year?" And he goes, "No, I mean like January or February."
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, next year. Okay. So Renzo's like, "Oh, are you upset?" I'm like, No, I just thought it was just the limitation of the English language,
Right. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense now. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
He's got nothing else to do. It'll be done early next year. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's awesome. That is so cool." But like you said, it takes a long time to make a comic book and you get antsy and like you have to tell stories in order for the people to catch it. Like you're not going to put out winter before you put out fall.
Yeah.
Are you working with the same artist?
Yes. Yeah. So Anthony Gonzalez Clark is the artist on the book, and we did volumes 1 and 2 together, and he's working on volume 3 as we speak. So
how did you meet him? Like you were a kid. Did you just find a guy online, or was it a friend of yours?
Yeah, no, it was I found his work on an art forum and reached out to him. And this was his first book as well. Like he'd done some illustrations and he'd done some kind of sample pages of comics, but he never drew an entire comic before, let alone a graphic novel. And so we were both first-time creators working together and working on this book together. So it was a really exciting, special experience because it was like we were both discovering the kind of creators we wanted to be,
Is he your age?
No, he's a little bit older than me. I think he's about 10 years older or maybe 8 years older. So
Now this was your first script. I'm sorry, but this is just fascinating to me. So this was your first script, and this was his first. Did a lot of work get thrown in the garbage and start all over again? Like,
you know what? It not really, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, there was there was a lot of growing pains in terms of like learning how to collaborate with each other and learning like our process, and what works and what doesn't work on the page. But what we would do, and this is kind of unheard of. I mean, I don't know if other creators do it like this, but when we started working together, we would spend like 2 or 3 hours um like talking over video over like Skype or whatever, and he would be laying out the pages and we would be working on the layouts together and making the comic together, almost like as if we were in our own studio, collaborating and talking about
you would do like sketchy
yes,
thumbnails and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So we were really involved with each other, and so there really wasn't a whole lot of like, oh, like miscommunication or anything like that. Like we were on the same page from the get go. And, we would add pages here and there, or move some panels around. But structurally, the first volume, like I maybe changed, I don't know, 10 to 20% of it by the time it was finished. And so there really wasn't a whole lot of, you know, heavy lifting to be done. And a lot of people do read it, and they do not. They tell me they've told me time and time again, it does not remind them of the first, like someone's first comic. It doesn't read like someone's first comic, which I'm super thankful for, because I mean that could be a nightmare if you put out something and
you froze. Did I freeze? Did you freeze?
Let's see. Are you still there?
Did I freeze or did you freeze? Well,
you froze at least. Okay. At least.
Oh, good. Well, you were talking, so people.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we really didn't have a lot of issues like working together at all, and thankfully, Anthony has stuck with me, and even though we've taken some long breaks between volumes, he's always been gung ho to get back to work on it.
Now, are you you give long scripts, or do you do like Marvel method, or you know what I mean? And
yeah, no. So yeah, I do full scripts. So like I write the entire story out, and I write the entire graphic novel, and send that to Anthony. And sometimes he'll just read it like chapter by chapter, rather than the entire thing. But yeah, he'll go chapter by chapter and page by page, and go from there and send me layouts. I approve those, and then it's off to the races. But we've worked on over 200 pages together. That
now know each other.
Yeah, like there's no, I don't know, like if he changes something on a page, or if he sends me something that I didn't agree to, I like unless it's something that is like I feel like unnecessary. Usually every choice he makes, like I know he's going to make the right choice because we've worked together for so long. So, it's my job as a collaborator and as the writer to trust the artist, and right. Trust his ability to tell the story. So, if he does change anything and he gives me a reason, like I'm all for it. I'm like, hey, good enough for me. Like, I can only imagine, what it is like to be working on a page, for hours and hours and hours. Like you want that page to be fun to work on, and you want to be, you don't want to feel like it is a job, in a sense of like, oh, I'm drawing things that I don't want to draw. So for me, I think it's really important that Anthony draw what he wants to draw, and if he needs to change a few things around in the script, that's totally fine. But like, as long as the story doesn't change, that's what's important.
Right. Yeah. I like Renzo, right? Like, well, he's the only guy you've ever seen my work with, and he likes it when I tell him exactly what to do. He's like, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
direction.
if it's different, it's because just, the limitations of the English language or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right.
but like a couple of other guys, they're just like that I'm working with. One guy in particular who's like, be quiet until it's done. He's like using my script as a guide. I literally
Okay.
sent him a 13-page script, and he's making it a 26-page comic.
Wow, that's
You know what I mean? He
crazy.
goes, "This is a good idea. We got to expand on this." And I'm just like, "Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
trust you." And then one guy said, you know, give me Marvel method. Just I want to draw what I want to draw, and I agreed to that because I trust him. He's but I couldn't do it Marvel method. So
Mm.
I said, I'm just going to write a full script. Do whatever
Because
you
you
want.
needed to know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This is the way the story is. This is the only way I know how to do it. Is like a big, like my scripts are like overly, like each panel is almost like a page.
Yeah,
Of
of like
detail.
description. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like we're coming from a bird's eye view and looking down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I get a lot of times is different, but it, like you said, as long as the story doesn't. But it's kind of interesting to see one guy who's just like, tell me exactly what to do, and like he it's almost like he takes the image out of my head and puts it on the paper. That's Renzo, and then a couple of other guys that are just like they'll submit a page, and I'm like, I got to look at the script again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it is telling the story, but it's like it's almost like through
Not what you expected,
yeah,
right?
like a
Yeah.
crazy, okay, but through their style, you know what I mean? And it's cool. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. But
Yeah.
so obviously this guy isn't the same artist for Manchild then. So was it a big switch?
Yeah, so no, it wasn't that big of a difference. I mean, I've learned uh Jay, the artist from Manchild, he's definitely more of tell me what you want. And like
Okay.
he'll send me, like different options, like he'll be like, okay, like A, B, or C, like which one. Whereas Anthony, I trust him to choose the right option. But Jay, he kind of wants the more hands-on approach and needing that direction. And Jay also colors the book, so there's that added element to it of like, how do you want this to feel? How do you want this to look? Is there anything creative that we can do with the coloring, that we couldn't do, with the line work and stuff? So that's also an added element to it. But I've worked in my time in comics, I've worked with in terms of sequentials with like 10 to 12 different artists, because my book Lifeline, I worked with 7 different artists from all around the world, and they each drew a different chapter of the graphic novel. And so that was really kind of my boot camp into working with different artists on the same project and seeing how artists worked. Some were very hands-on, some I didn't hear from until
Oh, that drives me crazy.
yeah, yeah.
That drives me crazy. I had it out with somebody that like I gave him an assignment, and I didn't hear from him for months,
Mm.
to the point I hired somebody else.
Oh
You know what I
no,
mean? And
yeah.
then he's like, okay, I'm like, dude, you aren't responding to emails, nothing. I didn't know if you were alive or dead.
Right, right. And
Sorry.
that's, I mean, there's nothing worse than feeling as though your project is stalled, and because like you're ready to go, and you have the money, and you just want the book to be done. And so like anytime it gets held up, you're like, oh man, like it's out of my control. And like, as thankfully all the artists that I've worked with have been really good communicators, and that's so important. Like even if you won't be done for a while, like let me know.
Well, that's
Like
one of the things now after that incident, I said, I'm super aware of becoming a pest. I don't
yeah,
want to be like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? So I tell people like, okay, Nandor, me and you are working on a comic. I'm going to send you a complete script.
yeah,
A couple of guys that I know, they'll send like a few pages at a time. I find that to be insane, but whatever works for them. Like,
Yeah, that I couldn't do that either.
I
Yeah.
want you to read the whole story so that you understand. Oh, that's why this is red, or that's why this is this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you get the whole, you get everything. So the
Yeah.
artist can interpret it and be consistent. So I feel that's important. And then I just say I'm gonna message you on Fridays. So Nandor, every Friday, no pressure. I'm just gonna say, how you doing?
Yeah,
It's
right.
Friday. I'm
Right.
just checking in. How's it going? That doesn't mean speed up. That doesn't mean crack the whip. It just means how you doing. Are you still alive?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, are you still alive?
And even if you tell
That's
me,
what you
listen,
should
man,
ask, like,
I,
"Hey."
like like one of the guys, he said, listen, I'm just not feeling like drawing for a couple of weeks. I'm like, fine. I don't want this. This isn't a chore.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
and one guy said, listen, I got another job that I got to do it. It pays more money. I got,
Mhm.
or my day job is kicking my, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
wait out again in a couple more weeks. But like, man, like two guys, just one guy for like 6 months and one guy for like 4 months. I just didn't hear from you.
Yeah, see that, I mean, there's no reason. There's really no reason for that. Like unless like, something like devastating happened and like, they couldn't communicate or they didn't have the means to,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, even if that were the case, I know if the ball was in my court and someone was waiting on me, I would always
Yeah, you
let
feel
them
like a
know.
bum.
Yeah, yeah, because I don't want them to hire someone else. Like I don't want them if I want to work on this project,
Just
I
tell
want to
me,
work
man.
on it.
Like, listen, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I gotta do this. This is a bigger prestige job, and I gotta do this first. That's fine.
yeah.
Just whatever.
I was gonna ask, since you've been working on a lot of these projects, I'm just curious, like what is something you've learned about your own writing process that you feel like has gotten better or that you've evolved at?
It's funny because I was just thinking of that today. I was doing something repetitious at work, so my mind started to wander,
Yeah.
and I was thinking about that. So far, I have two comic books done, and each comic book has 2 stories. So that's 4 stories. Then there's a 5th story that's completed, but it's not published yet.
Mm.
And we're starting the 6th story, but I've written, and those are the first 6 stories that I completed.
Yeah.
But I also have 7 other stories that are completed that are with other artists.
Wow, man.
So I found that at first I was like A to B to C to D to E to F to G. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the story was like a ladder.
Very methodical. Yeah.
So I tried to break that chain. If anybody here is watching this and you back to Heroic Tales too, let me know if I succeeded or not. Mike Barron says I succeeded, so I'm pretty confident. But I tried to tell it linearly. I can't even say the word much
linearly. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Mary Sue story is told out of sequence because she's literally bleeding to death and her life is flashing before her eyes.
Oh yeah, I love
like,
that.
As something happens, it's reminding her of her childhood, and then she's coming to, and something happens and it reminds of her college years, and then something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was really, really tough. And then I'm trying to another story from 2 different perspectives. Eddie is doomed. There's 2 stories going on. One is inside the comic book world, and then one is outside the comic book world.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's a lot like Man-Child. You'll see that.
We
yeah.
talked about it to the point where Man-Child's going to be walking around in the background.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited about that.
But like, I started to realize that I was starting stories the same opening shot with stories. I have 3 stories that I'm like, I have to start it this way. So I'm racking my brain to come up with a different story, and I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, right.
But like
right.
They literally start with the same opening page, almost the same 5 panels. It's a real easy way to just get you into the story.
Yeah.
And that might be bad.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look for that, as I read more of your work, because I did back Heroic Tales 1 and 2, and excited to read them. But sometimes I have found that too, like where you can kind of um like what your strengths are, or what works, and so that comfortability is really reassuring as a writer, because you're like, this works, like I'll do this. But if you only do what you're comfortable with, then you start to get predictable, and people start to figure you out and what you can do, and so
Right.
it's always important to switch it up a little bit.
Like the Father's Day story in Heroic Tales #1. I was just like, I just want to start with action.
Yeah.
So it started with the bank robbery. You know what I mean? Like, and now Patriarch #1, it starts. I was like, I want to start with action because it's a long origin story.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of, like, a couple of criticisms I got is like, oh, he's supposed to be a family man, but I don't know anything about his family. I'm like, okay, good point. So I wanted to include some family moments and some family times, but like I didn't want it to just be the first 2/3 family time and then action. So I was like, I want to start with action. So I was like, I'm just going to start with it. And I'm like, but I did that already.
Right.
So I think I did a pretty good job of it started with family time, but I brought the family into the action. So it's family time that turns right into action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I think I did the best of both. But if I may brag, and you're the one that brought this up, so it's your fault if I'm bragging right now. Heroic Tales 1, like, now that the shine is off, I could see the flaws in it, and it's my writing is the flaws, not the art or the coloring or anything like that. I'm the weakest link, but Heroic Tales 2 is a lot better. But man, Patriarch #1, which is my next campaign, it's like I jumped into hyperspeed as far as like
that's awesome.
The writing is so much better. And then, oh my God, the story that I just wrote for Ron Mosicki is drawing a story for my Batman character.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't write it so I could read it. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like,
yeah.
I'm so excited for that story.
Yeah. There's a particular issue in Manchild coming up soon, that like I mean, you have to be. This is like the irony of being a writer or creator, is like you have to be your harshest critic, but also your biggest cheerleader.
Right.
And it's like you do have to like be confident about what you're doing. And I think it's important to recognize, when you miss and when you hit a home run. Like it's important to recognize both of those things and to be proud of it when you do, and then also take it on the chin when you don't. And it's just really important. I think sometimes we can be so so hard on ourselves, or so scared to like be like, hey, I think that was pretty good or whatever. But it's like there's a reason why people enjoy your work, and there's a reason why people want the next thing, and that's because they are enjoying it. And so if you didn't think you had something worth saying, you wouldn't be making a comic in the first place.
Right.
And that's really
I was talking with one of my artists today, and he was like, sometimes I feel like I have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's normal. Just today, my foreman gave me something to do that we're going to start tomorrow, and I panicked. I'm like, I can't do that. And then, like I said, I was doing something repetitious today in preparation for it, and then I made a plan, and I'm like, why did I panic? I could do that. I've done it.
Yeah.
It's normal. It doesn't matter what you do. But then this artist says he had imposter, and then he hands in this page.
Wow.
This is an awesome page.
Fantastic.
This is awesome. I'm like, are you setting me up? I'm like, how a girl's just like, oh, I don't think I'm pretty tonight.
Right. Yeah, and you're like, you look better than ever. Yeah.
This is Arkham. He goes by Arkham. This is one of his stories for.
I love panel 2 with the binoculars. That is so cool. What a cool shot.
When he was showing me the thumbnails of it, I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work, but I'm gonna make it bigger. But I wish I could make it
zoom in. Yeah.
But like I love first off, this landscape.
That establishing shot.
It's so good. and then they see the cave. The two explorers are a husband and wife, and now they go into the cave, and they do what husbands and wives do when they're been exploring all day. They're camping for the night.
Right.
It is exactly what I wrote, but I never worked with him before. So when I wrote the script, what is going on? When I wrote the script, I wrote it for somebody else.
And
somebody else said, and I'm working on something that's Greek mythology based, and I don't want to go from Greek mythology based and then be known as the guy who only draws Greek mythology monsters.
Yeah.
So I wrote him another script, but I pictured it as Renzo in my head because that's who I worked with.
Yeah.
And then to see that, oh man, Arkham, if you're watching, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah, that looks great. That looks really good.
And then he did a couple of pages out of sequence, which drives me crazy, but whatever.
That's happened to me before, and I'm like, wait a second, like where are we? What page are we on?
Yeah, but he wanted to draw the cool monsters first, before the boring human beings. But yeah, it's fun. Now, I today I got a page from Renzo, and I got a page from Arkham, and it's funny because like when I was a little kid at Christmas time, I would go and look at the presents, but I didn't open them up. Like I wanted to savor.
Yeah.
Like, as a little kid, I enjoyed delayed satisfaction. So Renzo always sends me a page, and I don't look at it for like an hour.
Yeah.
I just want to anticipate. Like I enjoy that. It's just fun. And like I got the proofs for my comic here. If anybody, I just held them and didn't open them for the longest time.
Wow.
Because I wanted that delayed satisfaction. You know what I mean? Like I'll do that with food. I'll look at it. I'll make a cup of coffee and I'll just look at that coffee and I'm like, that's gonna be a good cup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is like getting a new page is like opening a present every day. It really feels like that whenever you get a new page in, and I mean, whenever I get comps or the book, the printed book on my doorstep, I mean, it's better than Christmas. Like it's way more exciting than anything. It's like the best thing is getting your work delivered to you and opening it up and praying and hoping, everything is good. And thankfully I've never had any horror stories about that, but like, it's the best feeling in the world.
Did you ever have any like printing errors or anything like that?
No, I've been able to avoid that with every book that I've done. I've never had anything come back and have it be, messed up. So
yeah, I mean, if anybody's watching this and you're making your own comic, get a physical proof.
Yeah,
get a physical proof to the point, because the people that I use, they send you a file first, and then you approve that, and then you get the physical proof, and then you approve the physical proof, and then they print your comics. But there's things that I would have changed that I didn't notice because when I read it on the computer, it doesn't register as much as when I sit in my comfortable position with my
yeah.
So there's no typos in this that I've noticed, so I'm getting better. My first issue had 3 typos.
Yeah.
There's no typos, but is it syntax error? Like
yeah, like the I don't know, the pacing of it in the sentence, I guess. Or...
What it is this two word balloons of like 3 sentences each. And
gotcha.
One of the sentences is exactly the same in both, like 2 people, like, how you doing today? I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Let's like people don't read the same. So I'm like,
right. I got you.
And I didn't pick it up when I read it on. But other than that, I didn't see any errors. But anyway, when I got the physical proof for the first issue, a whole page didn't have any word balloons. There was no.
Oh no! Yeah.
And I don't know about you. Again, I didn't read Manchild yet, so I literally haven't read anything you wrote yet. Even though I have a bunch of. I'm going to rectify that tonight. I got time to read comics tonight. I'll put it. But like, my big thing is storytelling. Like to me, that's the unforgivable crime of comic books. If somebody's looking at your comic and they're reading your comic, and it's just like, let's look at this. The storytelling. There's no words here, so could you could figure out what's happening. I mean, I already told you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you tell me the story of what's happening in this?
Well, it's I need it to be a little bit like bigger so I could really see it. But I mean, from what I gather, it looks like someone is watching, or well, sorry, it's just a bit hard for me to see.
Yeah, I wish I could make it bigger. I can't.
But I mean, in terms of the layout itself, it's very clear,
Right.
and it's really
in the
easy
mountains,
to follow. Yeah.
In the binoculars, you could see a cave. He's conveying to the wife, okay, here's the cave. Now they're at the cave, and now they're camping.
Ah, gotcha.
There's nothing confusing about it. I
think boom. Yeah.
The story, like they're in the mountains. He's got the binoculars, and then the next page, space aliens attack. Like that's disconnect. That confuses people. So so even though my page didn't have the word on it, it still made sense, and I could have just hit the button, but I had to contact the letterer. We had to redo the PDF file. We had to, and it delayed it 2 weeks, but nobody remembers that except for me.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Like print it without the balloons? Like, come on.
Yeah. So anyway, I know it's late for you. We had to reschedule for so.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, I just didn't want to keep you up too late. I don't know if you have to wake up in the morning and dig ditches or anything like that. Is there anything you want to say that I didn't give you a chance to say because I talk too much?
No, you're fine. No, I just want to let people know, we have, I think, 21 days left for the campaign. This campaign's very affordable. It's what I call my Why Not Back Nandor campaign. So like, each volume is only $15. Each volume is over 100 pages.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
So I mean, it's me like giving back, and also trying to
literally it's a labor of love. It sounds like
and this is a big series, and I don't want anyone struggling to start it. I don't want anyone struggling to get into it. I don't want someone being like, man, like do I have enough? Like, can I afford this? Like, there's no question. Like, this is an affordable product, a quality product that you can pick up, and you can get a full beginning, middle, and end with each book. So go ahead.
Until the next volume is coming out.
So what my plan is to, after volumes 1 and 2 are fulfilled, this campaign is fulfilled, to launch the campaign for volume 3 soon after. So I'm hoping to launch the campaign sometime next year after the books have been fulfilled. We're looking for like a February or March fulfillment date. So all of the art's completely done. The books are completely done. So it'll just be a matter of getting the funds.
All 4 are completely done?
Not all 4, but the first 2 and the ash can. So the first like 30 pages of volume 3 is done. And we'll be working more on volume 3 as we get the campaign rolling and everything. So, we have some amazing original art available, some amazing variant covers from artists like Rob Willis and Richard Morgan and Corey Barton. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Ben. How you doing, Ben? Good to see you.
We're about halfway to our goal, which is awesome. And we, like I said, we have 3 weeks left. And there's also, I have all my books available on this campaign. So if there's, if you want to pick up Man-Child or The Fabled Offering or Lifeline, all of those books are available.
I did read some of your. I read The Fabled Offering. That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, more of that's coming out soon, right?
Nothing's been announced yet, but it is a universe that Marco and I want to revisit.
Right. I knew I read something that you wrote that I did for Man-Child. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had, I will say, The Fabled Offering, I've gotten the most requests to continue that story than any other project that I've worked on. So that's a really good sign. But
only because I haven't read Man-Child yet.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And you'll have to let me know what you think. I
Yeah,
feel like, Man-Child's right up your alley. You know, yeah, I think you're really going to enjoy what we're doing with that book. And I'm so excited. We're already working on issue 4. So, got a lot of different projects coming up, and, um, man, I can't wait for 2026. It's going to be a really exciting year. But yeah, this campaign is very special, and we'll be in comic book stores and bookstores, and seasons will hopefully be everywhere. Come 2026. So I'm really excited to get this rolling. I mean, it's very rare that you find an indie series that is this ambitious, with this many pages and this much story. So I'm really
yeah. I mean,
hoping.
geez, for $15 for a 100-page book.
Yeah.
Because I used to say my book is 40 pages for $10, and I would say it's the best deal in crowdfunding. I think you,
No, I beat you. I
yeah,
beat you
you
on
beat
that one. Yeah. But yeah, it was really important to me. I just I want readers. I want collectors as well, and I want people to enjoy my stories however they approach it. But like I really want readers, and I really want people to get invested in the story and in Fletcher's story. And so for me, ease of access and figuring out how to market it in a way that makes it affordable for people is just like the best way for me to go about it. And this campaign is solely to get these trade paperbacks printed. I don't have to worry about paying for the art; it's already done, or the lettering or anything. So it was really important that we make sure that this is affordable for people.
cool. I just backed while you were talking, because
Oh, well, thank
sometimes
you.
I say I'm going to back, and then we go, and then I forget. I'm like, oh no. Yeah,
Well, thank you, John. That means a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, I just backed. Yeah, it looks good. Like I said, $30 for 200 pages of comic. It is the best deal. I can't say that anymore.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, I got to get to bed. I've been up way too late, and I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no. Hey, thank you so much for accommodating me and having me on this late. And yeah, I hope we'll talk sooner than later.
Yeah, yeah. Come
And
back anytime you want. Come back.
yeah, let me know. So the Patriarch #1's you're going to be your next campaign, and
Yeah,
then
Brentford says it'll be done early next year. So I'm going to wait until he's mostly done before launching the campaign.
Awesome.
Like I normally launch the campaigns when they're about 25% done.
Yeah.
But since this is 45 pages of one story, I probably
you don't want to jinx it, right?
Well, and if I'm going to be month of November, I'm going to be fulfilling, and if he's going to be done January or February, I could wait till March to launch.
Yeah, and you kind of want that lead up time for signups and getting people ready for it, that kind of thing too.
But I also don't want to let the trail cool either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is good. I mean, I think I leveled up in my writing.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. Yeah, I can't wait to check out Heroic Tales.
Yeah,
so.
I can't wait to read Man-Child. I'm gonna go pull it. It's I could see it's right over here, and I have to stand up because this pile of comics is teetering. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, but thanks a lot, everybody. Check it out.
Thank you guys.
I backed. I just like reading comics. It's so much fun. All right, and you can see I got my pot pie over here that I got to finish eating before going to bed. Good night, everybody. Good seeing you. Bye, kids.
Goodbye, kids.
Time to